How's it going, guys? I got a new deck for you called Crossroads, and the reasoning behind the deck name... No. The reasoning behind the deck name is picture two roads, if you will. One of them being dark types, and how mean they can be. So you have Dark Patches with their acceleration. You have Dark Claw with boosting dark Pokemon in general. And then you just have... everything, I don't know, it's basically just those two. Dark Patch to accelerate, Dark Claw to increase the damage output, and then picture another road, if you will. Picture Plasma Pokemon that can be accelerated with Chorus Machine and boosted with Deoxys. You got a little bit of a taste of that on turn 1, and there was actually one Pokemon, if these were perpendicular roads, at which it intersects, and that's Absol. So that's going to be the star of the show today. Something that can be accelerated with Dark Patch, boosted with Dark Claw and Deoxys, and also accelerated with Chorus Machine. It's got all four of those things going for it, and the idea is just do as much damage as you can as quickly as you can. Now, the list is fairly inconsistent. I still haven't ironed out the kinks in it yet, but from what I've seen so far, I absolutely love it. I'm not about to put a Dark Claw on that Deoxys. I promise. I just really can't work out the list. I know my buddy Brian had a list of it at his Battle Roads, and it didn't really work out for him. It hasn't really worked out for me either, but in my defense, I've only tested this maybe like maybe sit down 3 sessions, probably half an hour to an hour each. So I've maybe looked at this deck for a total of less than 3 hours, but it's pretty much hit or miss. It all depends on what you come into when you come into it, and it doesn't really have a lot of things that I don't know. It's just not 100% consistent enough for me to actually like want to use successfully. But when it lines up, oh my god, when everything lines up perfectly and you're at the corner of fucked and double fucked with Absol, it like, oh my god. I think this game and the next game I took back to back, and the fact that I took them back to back and I got results that well were okay, but I guess I'm done talking about the basis of the deck. Y'all can pretty much think about the fact that it's acceleration with Dark and Plasma and damage boosting with Dark and Plasma, and Laser just being a universal thing that also lines up at said intersection as well. So if he runs Veer Bank, he whiffed it, which honestly that would be the only explanation for bringing Tornadus in to try to do extra with Veer Bank and Laser, which I think would be a little bit over what Mewtwo's X-Ball would be doing by 10. So I'm not going to say he got greedy. I'm definitely going to say that he just whiffed it. And I keep coming into Dark Claws and not Absols, and I'm like, God, that's really annoying. I attach a third energy to that Absol because if it dies in the line of Dooney, then hey, there's more stuff to actually Dark Patch back. I said Dooney, I meant Duty. If it dies right there, then fine. Otherwise, I can use its second attack, which is a fixed 60 in case he doesn't want to load up his bench. But this man is doing me all kinds of favor loading up the bench with Absol. So if you want to count on your screen right now how much of damage I could do in theory if I were to come out with Absol and go for Mind Jack, it does 20 plus the number of Pokemon on your opponent's bench. So that would be 40 for Victini, 60 for Mewtwo, 80 for Lunatone, 100 for Landorus, and I believe he puts down another Pokemon on this turn, which would be 120. Boosted by the Dark Claw is 140. Boosted by the Deoxys is, because it's a Plasma Pokemon, is 150, 160, 170. And if I were to hit a Laser, I could knock him out in one shot, just by what's on the field right now. It just looks that good. So right now, I think I'm Ultra Balling. As tempting as it is to get the 4th Deoxys, I want to have a backup plan in case that first Absol dies for whatever reason. Because although they hit like trucks, you need to have another one ready to keep the damage going. So I'm assessing the threat, and I see that Landorus is in fact a big threat that I do not want to have to deal with. And then I come into an interesting set of cards in my hand, but I still don't come into a switch. Now, if I were to computer search for the switch, which is what I think I'm doing, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up missing out on the knockout here. But if I get the stuff to prepare my Absol or whatever else I want to, I would kind of want to say like a Laser or something like that. I wouldn't be able to switch a Deoxys out of the active spot. So I'm fucked if I do, fucked if I don't in both of those scenarios. But I decide, you know what? I don't want that Deoxys taking any more damage just sitting there, especially because I just put down a Veer Bank. And I guess I'm just going to Juniper next turn. But that does 150. So going right back to what I said, if I got a Laser on that turn, I would have been able to knock that out. It falls like 10, 20 short a lot of knocking out fresh EXs with a bench that isn't full. But when they get their bench loaded up for you, it works out beautifully. Like the damage cap, if you were to have 4 Deoxyses, a Dark Claw, 4 on the opponent's bench, and a laser would be 120. 140 without the Deoxys by itself. So if you got the Deoxys, that would be another 40 to equal 180. And then if you got a laser, that would be 210. And that last 30 would pierce through any Eviolites or any other effects going on right there. So it's just about enough to knock out any EX in the game. And it's super hot. So right there, top deck of Culver's Machine, which was gorgeous. I was really hesitant as to whether or not I wanted to promote that Absol right there. But I got it. I did the thing. And there aren't any dark Pokemon on the bench yet. But now that there are, and thanks to that first Absol dying, I can dark patch that thing all the way back up if I want to. I even left enough energy to do that. But I guess for whatever reason, I just really wanted to go in for the attack. I definitely could have dark patched, so I don't know why I didn't do that. But I guess I can wait to do that next turn. Tornadus comes in. Still not too threatened by it unless he has a laser, and then it turns out he just has another energy, which I totally forgot about a second attack. Don't really see Dark Explorer's Tornadus being used too often, but then again, I don't really know what the hell to call his deck. It looks like some kind of Victini Ether decks with Lunatone and then just a bunch of stuff that uses fighting energy, which is basically Landorus, Mewtwo, Tornadus, LMT. So, gonna promote a Deoxys because I want to Dark Patch, and I made the mistake of not doing that last turn. So that was a pretty huge whoopsies on my behalf, but I can still get another Absol going just because I top decked it, which is nice. I run a couple of switches. I'm still wondering whether or not I should run Keldeo Floatstone in this deck, and then I think to myself, why the hell not? There's really no reason to, but if I do, then it's a Pokemon space that's wasted, and that could very easily, you know, the extra 10 could matter somewhere along the way. So maybe I could put plus powers in here and stuff instead of stuff. So right here, I should have just captured, and then I should have waited for him to put a Floatstone on it, and then Tool Scrapper that off. That way it would have been stuck. But I did Tool Scrapper off his Floatstone on his Victini and his Landorus. He hopefully won't hit another one. And that way the Lunatone is stuck while I try to think of something to do here. So he sets down another Mewtwo. It's revealed that his next card is a Keldeo, so he probably runs Kelstone. Well, he does run Kelstone because I just scrappered some tools, but it is revealed right there that he does run Kelstone. Or we might have seen a Keldeo beforehand, in which case, whatever. So he's going for this Deoxys that already has damage on it. I wouldn't actually be going for the Deoxys in the first place unless you can get the Lunatone out of the active spot. Which, I mean, he can rush in with Keldeo, but if he doesn't have the follow-through in the form of a Floatstone, it's just buying me time, too. I don't really care if that Deoxys dies, because I think will it go that way? I don't think it will go that way. I think it'll die at the end of my turn, so I'll have to promote something else, which will be pretty vulnerable as well. So, I'm looking to see what I have, and my deck is actually running really hilariously low. I burned through my resources a lot quicker than I meant to, and I blinked, and all of a sudden, I've only got 8 things left. So, I'm going to end my turn right here in hopes that he will. I honestly don't know. Oh, no, you know what? I think my Deoxys has 150 damage on it. So he would have to have a Floatstone for Keldeo in order to retreat. And then, I don't know, right now, because it dies at the end of his turn, it gives me an opportunity to bring up my Absol and then just do something nasty. So I have a third Absol ready to go. I do run 4/4 on these guys. I can't really think of anything else to run in this deck other than maybe... I really don't know. There's only one Pokemon that fits the bill of like Dark Patchable and Culver's Machinable, and that is Absol. But I mean, if I wanted to run Tornadus EX, the Plasma one, it's another tempting option too. So I see that thing has way too much energy on it. It's in fact his only loaded up attacker. So I decide I'm going to go for a Mind Jack right now, and that does a whopping enough, I think. I'm just gonna attach and Chorus Machine, and it does 150, which ordinarily wouldn't be enough, but because of the 20 damage he had on him prior with the laser, I did not think that would come into play, but that was actually more fortunate than I could ever possibly imagine. And on top of that, I hit a switch and a laser in case he wants to stall for time on the Deoxys, and in case I need the extra 30 to knock out one last Pokemon, I can do it. I should be good to go. So I've pulled mildly ahead. And just like that, he catches up a Deoxys in an attempt to stall, which was predictable, but that's the thing he's allowed to do. So, what do we have right here? I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to upload this in time. I really hope my computer's cooperating and it renders quickly enough. That way I can just leave it on public and then we'll be great. For now, Keldeo is stuck and then Deoxys is stuck as well. I'm trying to count up the damage right here and see if I have enough to knock out Keldeo. I think I barely miss out on the knockout by, I think, 10. Even after laser, which is why I decided not to play the laser. So I get 130. If I lasered, it would have been 160. Keldeo having 170. So at this point, I'm not going to use any of my resources until my deck runs out, which I think is actually going to be next turn. So that's probably what he's waiting to do, just stall until I actually deck myself out, which has happened a couple of times before. And right there, you can see that I run out of cards, but that does not mean the game is over, folks, because I can actually just end out my hand, and then that puts 2 cards back into my deck. So I've bought myself 2 extra turns, and on top of that, I hit the laser. But it is still not enough to knock out the Mewtwo. So I'm just going to go for another Mind Jack, and knowing that more than likely the Mewtwo will be stuck in there, anything else he promotes at this point will 100% die to an Absol's Mind Jack combined with a laser. So I've spread enough damage to get him, to back him into a corner right here. And then I think I have 1 card left in my deck, which is probably Culver's Machine, which is pretty pointless. But knock out his Mewtwo for the game and get myself a rather pointless Ultra Ball. And that's Deoxys Absol. Freaking TCGO does this thing where it shifts down a setting and it doesn't need to. And like I want to keep it on expert modified every time, so I don't know why it shifts down to novice unlimited. I've gotten into a couple games like that on accident just by hitting play now. So I want to play now. I want to play what I was playing before right now. So that could be a great update if they could get on that. Next match I think is actually a really interesting deck. If I had a hat, it would go off to this guy because it is actually a really, really, really cool idea. Concept behind it is Darkrai Hydreigon, which is not an unfamiliar concept, but he's also got beaches in it in order to get it out. So it's like, okay, I'm liking that so far. We don't see this just yet, but he goes first, so you're going to see plenty on this first turn. And it's important to keep attention, or pay attention to it. So you can see right now that my first hand is absolute dicks. There's like nothing I can do with this. I can put down a Veer Bank to get rid of his beach, and I can Juniper the rest of this shit away, but just like, I don't really want any of this stuff. So he's going to Ultra Ball, I believe, for another Dino. I believe it's probably Dino. I've been saying Dino a lot, but it's probably Dino. So I see Terrakion EX. I'm just like, wait, this is not what I expected here. So he's loading up his bench, which is absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, he puts down a Keldeo, which means laser at a max will cap out at 30 damage per turn unless I'm getting it on the Keldeo and I get a heads, and then it gets stuck in there. But laser will only just be used for like a 30 plus power between turns. So he's playing out his hand. Like, that was a really explosive first turn for him. The one thing I believe I'm going for right here is I'm going to go for a Skyla to get myself an Ultra Ball. And that way I can put the Dark Claw on something and actually play down my hand a little bit and be able to use his own Tropical Beach before I get rid of it on the next turn. So I'm going to get rid of a Super Rod and a Plasma Energy. I do still have 3 left in my deck, but looking at the matchup, the only thing that Deoxys should really be Helix forcing is more than likely Cresselia if it wants to attack, but I don't know. Oh, you know what? I didn't even use the beach. I just got rid of his beach and I have a Juniper in my hand. So that probably is a really heavy implication that I have a supporter in my hand that I'm waiting to use next turn. So if he ends me out of it, that's totally fine too. Otherwise, I can just do this. So you can see that he got a Rare Candy on turn 2. He gets his Hydreigon up, which means he can move around his Dark Energies as much as he wants, but it also means he can move his Prism Energy. So everything in this deck will be able to attack as soon as he gets more stuff on the board. So I'm going to go for a Professor Juniper right here. And actually coming to a pretty decent amount of things. I've definitely seen better, but I've definitely seen worse. I'm really just pining for a switch right now so I can get this Deoxys out of the active spot. So I think all I can really do with this deck is either get 3 Deoxys, 2 Absols, and a Keldeo in play, or just crank up the number of switches I'm running because I'm not really hitting them often enough. And I'm really trying to think about what I'm going to Ultra Ball away on this next turn, slash if I even really need to Ultra Ball. I don't think I go for it, to be honest. If I do, that's Kind of unusual, but that's okay as well. I'm just ending my turn right here. I got kind of frustrated, and I was like, what am I going to do with this hand? I decided not to waste any of those resources because that dark energy is going to have to go on something next turn. I'm hoping he'll target down one of the Absol so that way I can promote the other one and hit something for a massive 140 damage. If I can get it on the Deoxys and a laser on the board, that should knock out any EX that we have out here. If I don't hit the laser, I can knock out a Hydreigon, like guaranteed. So he is, I believe he's Dark Trancing right here just to move this around. And I think he decides against committing to the attack right now because I could definitely knock out a Darkrai since his bench is loaded. So he actually makes a fairly safe play right here. It's either on this turn or the next turn where he spreads his energy out among everything because he doesn't need to be attacking right now. And I think he caught that like at the very last second. Like if he knocks out the Deoxys, I actually don't think he has enough to knock out the Deoxys unless he has a laser going. But he wouldn't have laser because he has beaches anyway. So he just rushes in with Keldeo and just leaves it in there, which I'm really grateful that he didn't attack my Deoxys, but I would have loved to have come in and immediately wiped out the rest of his energy. That would have been great. Right here, what am I doing? I think I am deciding... The problem is I can only attach one Prism per turn, and I really want a Juniper, so I'm deciding, you know what? I'm actually just going to go ahead and get rid of my Skyla and my... It honestly doesn't matter at this point because I'm planning on Juniper, so anything I got rid of in that order would have been great. It just means I'm going to have access to one less Prism energy to be able to Helix Force, but as long as I have one, and as long as he doesn't have Enhanced Hammer, I think I should be okay. Coming to no switches. Again. I don't know why it's happening. At this point, I guess I'm just kind of waiting for that Deoxys in the active to die. It's really discouraging when it's... Oh my god, that 10-card Colress. I should probably be running Colress in this deck as well, because when my field is panned out appropriately, I can get at least 5 cards off of it, and then if things are going great, I can get some more cards off of it. So maybe squeak Colress in here somewhere. It's a great card, just not on turn 1, unless your bench is actually loaded on turn 1, which, bravo, but that kind of sucks. Right here, he's got, I think, 4 energy on the board, and he might also run Dark Patch in this deck. Yep, there it is. So he can get his Dark Energy back. I don't even know how he discarded it in the first place. Probably an Ultra Ball or something like that. But everything's got like free retreat. Keldeo can just move around, get rid of laser poison, so it's really flexible. It actually gives Cresselia a use in that it can get the energy loaded up very quickly and start attacking. But right here, he's deciding not to commit his energy to Terrakion just yet because he knows that he can actually get some use out of it. So what am I doing right here? I think I'm lasering. And then I am going to end just to get some 30 damage. And look at that, still no fucking switch. Hello! Okay. Right here, I can Dark Patch to prep up both of the Absols. Give him something to target. He's more than likely going to target the one with the Dark Claw because it does, in fact, have a Dark Claw on it. And that makes it 20 damage more scarier. That is, like, absolutely horrible grammar. But I think you understand what I'm talking about. Because it has a Dark Claw, means it is ready to go. It is terrifying. So, as I thought, he gets the Deoxys out of the active spot, and he's prepping to hit it with something. The only reason he would catch it up is to knock it out in one shot, and I think he could honestly do that just with a Rock Tumble. But if he has a basic energy in his hand, he can actually use Pump Up Smash to Okomi and get another energy on the board. Or he can move it all to Hydreigon, discard the Dark Energy, and then that leaves it open to Dark Patching later, which is not a bad strategy at all. I'm just curious as to what he's going to do, because this Absol is a completely vulnerable target, and I need another one in play, otherwise I'm going to lose my offensive momentum, and that really sucks. So, it looks like he's going with just the regular Rock Tumble, and he actually did not commit all 3 energy to that, which I'm a little upset about because it means there's more energy on the board than there needs to be, and the switch is late to the party, and I have to discard it anyway. How freaking bullshit is that? Right now, I think I'm just going to Colress Machine, and that's the only one I can have there. Decide to put it on that Deoxys, and I'm counting up my bench, and I think I can get a knockout right now, if I'm not mistaken, because I lasered, and then Mind Jack is going to do 160 plus an extra 30. We'll bring it up to 190, so I clean 2 energy off the board, which is still okay. Now I'm wondering what I'm going to do now, because he still has 3 energy on the board. He promotes Hydreigon, and Hydreigon's attack does 140 damage, and you have to discard 2 dark energy. So that is the original plan he had going. That was his plan B for accelerating energy in my book, because it's a little bit less risky, and it kind of hinders your momentum if you go for Dragon Blast, because you get rid of some energy, but you can Dark Patch onto it, so it's fine. But he still Dragon Blast anyway, and he attaches another energy. But notice that all, like 75% of his energy is on the board right now. And I top deck an Absol. That was really fucking important. And right now, I can Dark Patch onto said Absol, and I forgot I don't have another Plasma Energy, which is really disappointing. That's okay. I think I can still knock it out with Helix Force. Actually, no, wait, no, I can't. Not yet. I actually cannot knock this thing out yet, because it has, well, shit, I'm trying to remember here. Can I switch? I think I'm just going to N and then Dark Patch and then manually retreat. I haven't used my actual attachment for the turn, because that was the Dark Patch. So there's an actual Dark Energy, and I think I'm just going to pay the manual retreat cost just to get rid of the energy. Hydreigon actually has 150. Forget what I said earlier. My bad. So we're getting this Deoxys out of here, and we are going to do a ridiculous amount of damage to this thing right now. His bench is loaded, and then there was a damage cap I was talking about earlier. I hit it when it came to knocking that out. So 180 damage plus a laser is 210. God damn it, Absol, you are terrifying sometimes. But ends me down to 3. That's fine. My hand actually kind of sucked, and it looks like he whiffed something too, which I'm pretty okay with. I did lose some damage on the board, but I think according to everything I counted, and this is just me not paying attention in the middle of the game, but it should just be 20 damage reduced because I still have a laser anyway. So that's going to do 160, and then with an extra 30 is 190, and Absol getting me 3 prizes in 2 turns for just a 100 HP non-EX basic Pokemon is really cool. If they ever bring the Team Plasma Darkrai into this game, I'll probably put that in his deck too, just because it's really good for pivoting, and just, I love it. Maybe I could even put regular Darkrai in this deck too. Kidding. It'd be really nice for the free treat, but I still don't know whether or not it's worth it. He ends me down to 1. That's fine, especially because I draw an N off of it. At this point, I just want to spread damage. I really don't care. He's pulling all of his energy on Crest, and in reality, I just have to knock out something. I think he is going to retreat, so he still has his Pivoter. And is he going for a knockout? I forgot. Nope. Just keeping that. So I draw another N. How pointless is it to have these Ns late game, especially when I only have 1 prize left? So before I can even stop and think about the math, he just kind of scoops. I think I was only 10 damage off from a knockout anyway, so yeah, I don't know how I would have gotten that. I'm pretty sure I used up all my lasers and everything, so he just kind of scoops, does the thing. Anyways, that was Crossroads. It's a fairly fun deck. I actually really like it, but I don't know. I haven't really had a lot of opportunities to test it out, but hope you guys liked it too. If you did, you can leave a like rating, comment, and subscribe, and do your thing. And there's also the link in the description that I'm posting in every video. I'm still in first place. Let's definitely keep that way. I don't want anything sneaking up on me all of a sudden, so just click the link, vote, takes a second. Good to go. Anyways, that's it for TCGO, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later.